What about the two characters, Death and those versus, or what about the one in the Golden Army? How about the Angel of Death or the Grim Reaper in the Golden Army? Did you guys notice anything about it? Anything specific? The eyes, where were the eyes? It didn't have eyes? Okay, what else? Anything else? No face. The eyes are on the wings. They were on the face. Yeah. It didn't. It didn't have any. It didn't have a Sith or any of the things that you talk about when we were talking about the Grim Reaper. Anything else? It brought him back to life. Did you? What about when he was talking to him? What was he saying? When he was talking to the girl. Anybody else listening? Is that anybody else here?
Basically, she brings him back to the initial world.
Okay, so he could see the future?
Yeah. Well, it was a prophecy.
Yeah? It's true. It's true. It was a prophecy, so we would already known it. But when he's saying that she would specifically suffer most of all, doesn't that kind of give the illusion that he would know what would happen?
Yeah.
That he knows what's coming? He said he was going to meet him at every crossroads. What do you think that means? I think the quote was, I am your death, and I am his death, and I will meet him at every crossroads. So what are these crossroads? If he says every crossroad, you can't die more than once. You can't die at every time you, so what is he talking about? Every time he does something bad, or every time he would be close to death, possibly. Every time, because I mean, if he's a superhero and he's out saving the world, he gets hurt all the time when you say he gets close to death. So does that kind of give you the illusion that death is just kind of creeping around, following people? It's just waiting on you? Being a creep? Yeah? Just being a creep. Alright, we are going to read from one of my favorite books. It's only like 5 quotes, so don't freak out. Does anybody want to read the background synopsis of the story? Or do you want me to? If I read this, you guys are reading out of the book, so take your pick.
It's just a small story, really, about among other things, a girl, some words, and academics, some
An accordionist.
some political journalists, a Jewish biz fighter, and quite a lot of people. Narrated by Marcus Zuckerman.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking new novel is the story of a young foster girl living outside of Munich in Nazi Germany. She scratches out existence for herself while studying where she encounters something that she can't resist: books. Soon she is stealing books from Nazi book converters, the mayor's wife's library, wherever they are to be found. With the help of her recording playing Parsifal, and she learns to read, and she shares her stolen books with her neighbors during long days, as well as with the Jewish mayor hiding in her basement. This is an unforgettable story about the ghostly books to feed us all.
Okay. So does everybody know what Nazi Germany is? There, yeah? We all know about Nazi Germany, Munich, Germany. So why is she stealing books? Why doesn't she just go to the library and grab a book? Why does she have to steal them? Yeah, well, I don't think that she is Jewish, but she is a refugee from another country. And she comes and stays with this foster family. And because she is a refugee and she is a girl, she's not allowed to read books. And she's not allowed to read specifically the books that they are burning because Nazi Germany didn't allow propaganda against them. Propaganda is wartime literature, or kind of like you see on the TVs right now, all of the campaigns. It's propaganda towards the campaigns. That's what propaganda is. So if it's not Nazi propaganda, which means it doesn't have Nazi ideals and push those things, then they weren't allowed to read it. So we're going to read some quotes, and all of these quotes are directly from Death. Death narrates this entire book, and it's kind of like we were talking about with him following people and watching over. This girl comes to her crossroads, we'll say. She comes to near-death experience a few times in this book. And every time Death is there, and he's watching her, and he's very interested by this little girl and the way that she behaves and the surroundings that she's in. seen so many young men over the years who think they're running at other young men. They're really running at me. It's the rest of it. Okay. How do you guys feel about that one? That's my favorite one. You think of, what do you think of soldiers? That what you said? Automatically think of soldiers. So would that have a lot to do with Nazi Germany? I've seen so many young men over the years who think that they're running at other young men. They're not. They're running at me. You think only soldiers? Would that be the only time that you could think of young men running towards death or running towards other young men and it actually be them running towards death? Can you guys give me any examples? Anything you can think of besides soldiers?
Like gangs.
Gang violence? Absolutely. You think that you're fighting for your gang or for other people and you're just fighting to end up dead or in jail?
Well, seeing it's Nazi Germany, it could be like one of the Jewish people trying to like make a distraction so other people can flee.
Absolutely. Well, or it could be somebody standing up to a soldier. Could it not be somebody on the other side or vice versa? Somebody, say a Jewish man was running at a Nazi German soldier? So it's not necessarily always soldiers, but that's my favorite part. What about page 550? I'm haunted by humans. What?
Humans discuss the your nature.
Why do you think he would be haunted by us and our actions?
Because the group doesn't really go before just collects with dead people, but humans actually kill a lot of people.
Hate, right? We actually are violent enough to have a mass genocide like Nazi Germany. He just, I mean, I kind of feel like, it kind of makes me feel bad for him, you know? Like he's just trying to do his job. He's not trying to, I know, we'll see. All right. So this is about her father before he's about to die. This is one of those crossroads quotes where death is kind of hanging out, waiting. He comes in and sees the father. He says, all I saw was a man in bed. I knelt. I readied myself to insert my hand through the blankets. Then there was a resurgence. On the immense struggle against my weight, I withdrew. With so much work ahead of me, it was nice to be fought off. In that dark little room, I even managed short, eye-closed pause of serenity before I made my way out. What happened?
Came to go out for him, so
Go. Here.
When he was trying to take the guy's life and the guy
So he's trying to like free his soul, you know, kind of harvest him, and the guy was what? So he came a little too early. Guy clung to life too long. It's up there on number 9. So he couldn't end up taking him. So what does he say? He says that with so much work ahead of me, it was nice to be fought off in that little dark room. I even managed a short, closed-eye pause of serenity before I made my way out. So do you think he was upset that he didn't get to take this soul? All right. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. Especially in that time, there's so many people dying. What about that? What about the fact that in Nazi Germany, millions of people died? If there was one Grim Reaper, what was he doing? If there was a Grim Reaper and he was an actual thing, an actual person going around, how busy do you think he is? If you think about what, there's a baby born every second and somebody dies every second as well. Busy do you think the Grim Reaper would be? Alright, so the last one. It's a really good one too. I do not carry a sickle or a scythe, which is the thing. I only wear a hooded black robe when it's cold, and I don't like those skull-like facial features you seem to enjoy pinning on me from a distance. You want to know what I truly look like? I'll help you out. Find yourself a mirror while I continue. What? What? Somebody else read it. Somebody read it. I just read it for you. Can you read it? Come on. Come on, somebody who hasn't helped me out today. I mean, it talks about the fact about our capabilities of being able to kill people, because like he said, we haunt him more than he haunts us. Anything else? Besides, obviously, a reflection of human characteristics and flaws. Is there anything else that you guys see? You guys want to talk about? No? Not at all? Guys are killing me. Bueller? You guys didn't know that movie? You did? Alright. Alright, so last thing I want to talk about is with these quotes, these last 5 quotes that I gave you. Do you see, what do you see? How do you see death? You've seen him in a comedy clip, you've seen him in